Okay, so one of the, or three of the tenets, I guess, of regenerative agriculture is to be kind to people, planet, and of course it has to be profitable. Otherwise, you're going to quit doing it eventually. Passion only goes so far. So our farm has a lot of areas that aren't really good for grazing. So we've kept those set aside for like pollinator habitat. We've got woods, and the area back by the creek, it's not really good for grazing. There's a lot of water that runs through there. And so we thought that would be a perfect place to have people come to our farm. You know, you have to pay the taxes on the land anyway. I'm here anyway, so we have to maintain the land anyway. So as I mentioned, we had a vision to have teepees on our farm and have people come and camp and, you know, experience our land and share our passion for nature. So 2 years ago, was it 2 years ago? Yeah, 2021, we had been talking about doing hip camp for, I don't know, 2 or 3 years. As soon as we found out about it, it's like, oh, we should do that. And so it goes on the list, you know, the list. And so we talked about it, and finally we decided, all right, quit talking it to death, let's just do it. So we ordered 2 teepees from Nomadic Teepees in Bend, Oregon. And so the teepees that were in the movie Dances with Wolves, I'm sure everybody here has seen that movie, they're the company that made those. So they've been making teepees since the 1970. So we ordered those teepees. They make campground model teepees. So they've got critter guard. It's got a zipper door on it. We have them painted beautifully. One of them's got a bison scene on it, and the other one has a whitetail scene on it. And so we put those in the areas of our farm where it's not really good for much else. We enjoyed that area because it's a nice nature trail and whatnot. So we thought that was a great way to bring people out to our farm, make a little extra money on our farm. And so this is our 3rd season with Hip Camp, and so far it's been a positive experience. I think you have to have a minimum of 2 acres for Hip Camp to have a thing. And it can be as elaborate as, you know, here's my land, find a place to pitch a tent, to glamping. So we're kind of in the middle of tent camping and glamping because our teepees have a queen size bed in there, so it's comfortable. It's got a fire pit, it's got a picnic table, and we have a restroom back there that's like a composting toilet, so it could be compostable if at some point when we get that facility set up to do that. Right now it just goes right in the trash, and that's legal. So, and it works out pretty well. In fact, we had a guy from California who had traveled clear across the country, and he's like, you have the best bathroom of any place I've stayed. I'm like, wow, something great to be known for, you know? Like, but anyway, so that has all worked out very well. And then probably 3 weeks ago, so gotta love Facebook, somebody stayed and they shared it on a state travel page called Ohio Road Trips, and it went viral. So she shared it, and my phone the whole next week was just blowing up, and it continues to live on. So that has really gotten us a lot of good attention. So our teepees are booked every weekend, and now we're hoping to fill in through the weeks, getting people staying in the teepees. But so far, it's been a very positive experience, and it's a great way to bring extra money. And so people that come out to stay in the teepees, they buy meat, which works out well for us. And, you know, they just really find it enjoyable. So we don't have any experience with Harvest Host, but that's another way to bring extra revenue. It's the people don't stay on your farm. Or sorry, they don't pay to stay on your farm. They pay a fee to Harvest Host, and then they're supposed to agree to buy a certain amount of product from you in that time. And Jared mentioned the agritourism laws. So in Ohio, if you're coming onto a farm, and we have our sign posted, so you're protected from lawsuits and whatnot by having that posted. And then Hip Camp provides insurance. So they provide $1 million worth of insurance. So if you have an insurance company or you don't have an insurance company that doesn't cover it, then HipCamp will cover that as part of their services. So they take 10% of your booking fee, but they collect all the taxes, they collect all the money and all that stuff. So that covers all the credit card fees and things like that. Yeah. So any questions about our HipCamp or want to know anything more about HipCamp?
What have been some of the challenges you guys have come across while doing?
So last year, we didn't have a drought. We had multiple multi-inch rainstorms. And so because we put our teepees at the back of the farm where we have all kind of runoff ditches that flow through there, our teepees got flooded 4 times last year. So that was a challenge. So before we opened our flaps on the teepee camp this summer, we rented equipment, and Jared mentioned that we dug out that drainage ditch on the other side of the property, but we also dug out the drainage ditches back here so that it carries a little more water. We spoke with the soil and water guy, and he said that our average rainfall went from like 41 inches a year to like 52 inches a year or something like that. And so he said all the infrastructure that was set up for that kind of rain is no longer set up for that kind of rain. So we felt like kind of failures for having these issues, but you know, you can't control nature as much as you want to. So
How much interaction do you have with some of the guys?
So we're as interactive as they want to be. So if they want to come up and chit chat about bison, we're happy to give them the 10-cent tour, as I say. Or some people just want to, they don't even stop when they come in. They just drive straight back there and immerse themselves in whatever's going on. We've got a creek back there that they go and play. And we had a fellow a couple weekends ago, he brought a book and he just sat back there the whole time. Like we're really close to a lot of tourist attractions. We've got Hocking Hills, which is a nice, beautiful hiking area. There's Buckeye Lake, which is 5 minutes from here. There's a lot of, breweries. There's a lot of places to eat. So there's a lot of things to do in our area. And so some people come and they choose to stay here because we're close to those things. And so they just stay here at night, and then during the day they go explore. But some people just want to check out and immerse themselves in nature and spend some time watching bison and rejuvenate their souls that way. So we have a really big concert venue. I don't know how many of you came to us from I-70, but it's called Legend Valley. And so that's been in operation since I was a kid. And so they host some interesting concerts up there. So in September, they have a big one called Lost Lands. And so they have life-size dinosaurs set up there. And they set up basically a huge camp. It looks like Fred Flintstoneville. And so it's pretty noisy, like we can hear the concert from here. But we had a number of people that didn't want to stay in that mess up there. They wanted to have a place to get away from the noise and the partying. And so actually Uber came out here and picked people up. It's like, seriously, Uber in Thornville on Lonesome Road? But yeah, so, and that was interesting. And we've just met a lot of really cool people by having them come on our farm and stay with us. So to me, that's, money isn't everything. So that's a payment in and of itself, is getting to meet all kind of cool people.
So do you only do through HipCamp, or do you use Airbnb or any other services?
So right now we're just using HipCamp because it's been successful for us. We talked about using HipCamp. There's, Airbnb. There's a couple of other camping platforms. I think Dirt is one of them, DYRT. Again, Harvest Host, but we don't really have so Harvest Host is for people that have like motor homes. And so we don't have really a good space to.
Do you do Harvest Host?
We did.
We stopped. Good reason.
Harvest Toast is the only one that makes money on that.
Yeah. And that's it, because they don't pay the farmer, so they could come out and buy meat or whatnot. But, we have people that don't come and spend the night on our farm and do that.
Well, I mean, people are incredible, but you had to spend too much time with it.
Yeah.
So do you set your own camping fees or just?
Yeah, we set our fee at however we want it to be. You know, what people pay, basically. So we started out doing $65 a night, and then we got a bunch of 5-star reviews, and so then we bumped our price up a little bit. And we continue to add more things back there. You know, eventually we'd like to have electricity, because right now it's just all primitive. So we've got solar lights inside, but there's no electric or water or anything like that. We provide like a 3-gallon thing of water that they can use as a sink. But as we add more things, we'll bump our prices up. But, you know, you kind of worry too, like, am I going to outprice myself? So finding that balance. So right now that's working pretty well for us, and people don't bat an eye to pay $75 a night to stay in a teepee and have, because it's an experience. And so it helps us. You know, we've got walking trails cut in all around and around our pollinator patches and up through the woods. So it's a great way to kind of make that part of our farm that's not being utilized for bison production and to pay, basically. All right. Any other questions? And, you know, go on Hip Camp if you have any questions or you think it might be for you, or you can reach out to us. There's postcards over here with information about Hip Camp, and there's stickers for Hip Camp. Feel free to take some. Yeah, or just Google it.